Westfield Memorial Hospital provides high-quality health care to residents of Western New York, offering patients the most sophisticated medical advancements while keeping the ease and familiarity of a community hospital. Support for Chautauqua Sunrise has been provided by WRFA 107.9 FM, Jamestown's public radio station, streaming online 24/7 at WRFALP.com. Low power to the people. Chautauqua Sunrise is made possible by a grant from Fredonia Place, a continuing care retirement community providing dignity in a modern luxury environment. Meter's Restaurant, a family tradition for over 50 years in downtown Ripley, is a proud supporter of Chautauqua Sunrise. Meter's provides all-day dining, banquet services, and custom catering, specializing in pie. Funding for Chautauqua Sunrise is provided in part by the Chautauqua County Industrial Development Agency, with offices in Jamestown, Dunkirk, and Westfield, helping businesses to prosper throughout Chautauqua County.
The Chautauqua Center.
Are you looking for affordable medical, dental, or counseling services? The Chautauqua Center is always accepting new patients at their Jamestown and Dunkirk locations. They offer discounted prescriptions and accept all insurances. From the Access Chautauqua Studios in Mayville, it's Chautauqua Sunrise. Chautauqua Sunrise is hosted by Doc Hamels and supported by the award-winning volunteers at Access Chautauqua. We are here to share local news, colorful interviews, and events of interest to everyone. Chautauqua Sunrise is broadcast live Saturday mornings each week from 9 to 10 a.m. Send events via email or call us live. Check us out on YouTube and Facebook. And now, from the Access Chautauqua Studios, it's Chautauqua Sunrise.
Hey everybody, happy spring. I'm Doc Hamels and welcome to Chautauqua Sunrise. Well, the world has changed since last week, hasn't it? Quite a little bit. It's a new day. I'm overwhelmed by the changes that we're all going through right now, and our lifestyles have changed in just every aspect. I've talked to people everywhere, and you don't realize little fine things of our lives have been tweaked just a little bit or a lot, depending on the situation, as we all work together to get through this time of this pandemic. Right up front, I want to say good morning to everybody that's watching around the world. We're streaming live, and we want to shout out to everybody that's out there. We may be broadcasting from here in Mayville, New York, Chautauqua County, USA, but we're all one big family, aren't we, around the world? And so to all our friends, whoever are watching right now throughout the world, we hope that you're safe, that you're doing what you got to do to get through this time, and hopefully in a couple of months we're going to be talking about bluebirds and butterflies and sunshine and all kinds of happy things instead of what we're dealing with right now. But we're going to get through this. So anyways, good morning world. I also want to say good afternoon to all of our listeners on WRFA 107.9, low power to the people in Jamestown. We are airing at Tuesdays at 1 o'clock, and so glad you could join us. We've got another very interesting show in store for you as always. Now, people might be thinking, well, what the heck, how come you're on the air with all that's going on? Good news! We are in the media are considered important. We are not what do they call that? Well, anyways, we're indispensable. We're essential. Thank you, Jeff. That's the word, essential. As long as we do our social distancing. I want to remind you that we do take calls, and if you want to give us a holler, if you have a question for my guest, a comment, if you have a cancellation. I started this last week, and most everybody knows everything's canceled, but there might be people out there say, now is that going to happen or isn't going to happen? Give us a call at 716-753-5225. Anywhere in the United States you can call. A call from out of the country, that's fine too, but we welcome calls. All right. You can also email us and text us and go to Facebook and all that good stuff. Happy to get your things. All right. A couple things I want to remind you also that we're on channel 1301 with Spectrum, and you can pass the word that we're on at 2 and 8 throughout the week. And then, of course, we are assigned to a nice little slot on YouTube forever and ever and ever. The reason why I mentioned 1301, because later today, I'm going to be working with some fine people from county government, from department heads and so forth. I don't know exactly who's coming in, but I do know the Department of Health and the Office for the Aging are going to be here, and we're going to be developing public service announcements for all of you to have a listen, have an opportunity to process some information they're going to provide you as we go through this pandemic, and that they're going to give you some information. So it's going to be called Chautauqua Strong. It's going to be a little series of public service announcements. Our county executive, P.J. Wendell, has coined that as his term, Chautauqua Strong. So I decided we're going to pick that up here. So throughout the week, please check in with us, and we're going to have these public service announcements interspersed throughout this week's and weeks to come until this is done. Various shows. Channel 1301, right? Okay, I had said that. All right, but I got my engineer coaching me, but that's okay. Sometimes I say weird things. I've actually invented new vocabulary on this show. If you missed it, everybody watches Westminster Dog Show. Now it's Dogminster. Okay. Don't ask me where that came from. Okay. I want to remind you, and I know that everybody's been hammering you on this, but this comes home very close to home anyways. One of my underwriters is Meter's Restaurant, okay? It could be Joe's Diner, it could be whatever, but in our hometowns, think about all those establishments. I don't care if it's a diner or if it was a shoe repairman, if it was whatever. They are our local businesses that have donated year in, year out to sports events and made donations in gift baskets and so forth. Please, 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 if they're open, do the very best that you can to support these folks. And I'll give you an example. And again, it's an example. It could be any restaurant in the country right now, but we called up Meters. We put in our order. The lady on the other line was very polite. She went through the order 5 times with my wife to make sure they had it right. We went down, presented our credit card. They had the food already in bags. Out the door we went and had a delicious meal at home, okay? It's not the same. It was kind of like going to a food line, but it is what it is. But these people, I don't care where you are in the United States, the folks in the restaurant business are really in trouble if we don't continue to support them, as well as other organizations and agencies and businesses that we can support. I know right now most everybody's got to go home, but there are some things that are available, so let's don't forget them. And a lot of times you can do some of this online and have things ordered to your house. We talk about social distancing, and I got a kind of a little chuckle out of all that. If any of you knew where I live on top of a escarpment in Ripley. I have a neighbor, and my good friend Mike and I used to call across the street through our trees, sort of like that Tool Time show with Wilson behind the fence. Well, in fact, I used to call him Wilson. We would laugh. I'd say, Wilson, what are you doing over there? And he was cutting his grass or whatever. We hardly ever actually saw each other or even shook hands or whatever. We would just call to each other from a distance. So we were doing social distancing in that respect. And many times it would be like November, the first snowfall, I'd be getting the mail and Mike would be across the way doing whatever, and I'd say, Happy Thanksgiving, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, I'll see you at Easter time, because when the snows fall, we didn't see each other. So social distancing is what it is. Do it. It's easy. Just think about what you could do and the harm you could do if you don't, okay? So please. Also, this is Muddy Paw season. If you got a dog, oh man, Brody was in the swamp yesterday. He was covered in mud. We got little paw prints all around the house. Barb says, didn't you wipe the dog's paws? I go, yeah. He's got that mud way up in there. So this is a fun time of year, isn't it? Okay. Couple things more, and then we're going to get to some announcements. All right. Here's a heads up. Next week will be a special show, and it's going to be pre-taped. All right. We're trying to do some things ahead of time in light of what's going on here, but we will be open. But don't call in next week, and I'll mention that in next week's show, but just a heads up on that. Okay, let's see. I want to also do a shout out to my fellow musicians. We got wiped out this week. I don't know if you guys realize that. In my case, I work as a musician. It's extra. It's nothing I rely on, but a lot of musicians I know, that's their bread and butter. So when this is all over, let's get those people hired and working again, and find reasons to have a big after the virus parties and things like that, and get them working. I had 3 gigs this week and wiped right out, and I can imagine if, like I said, if they're depending on that for their livelihood, that this is a serious time. You don't appreciate what you got until it's gone, as they say, and it is an interesting time we live in. Okay, in light of that, those of you that are part of clubs or organizations, since St. Patrick's Day basically got decimated, wiped out, nothing happened, how about St. Patrick's Day in July? Okay, we could have green parties then. And so think about that. Let's celebrate later on. Put it on hold. All right, I got a few announcements, and in most respects, they are cancellations. As you know, I try not to get into the regurgitating what everybody else is saying on TV, but I do have something from the county executive here, and just to let you know a few things. All right, so just some thoughts to keep in mind. Please do not go to your doctor's office if you feel sick. If you feel sick, stay home. Seems weird. And call your doctor's office to talk about your symptoms over the phone. Social distancing. Your provider will assist you to get the help that you need. Now, this was recommended especially from the Chautauqua Center, one of my other underwriters here. Do not call 911 because you have questions about your health. Call your doctor's office. 911, don't tie it up. If you don't have a doctor, the Chautauqua Center wants you to know that they're happy to work with you, okay? And also the Chautauqua Center says if you don't have health insurance, they have a certified application counselor that'll help you out, all right? So you saw the promotion in the beginning of the show. I mention this because it's not that I'm promoting the Chautauqua Center so much, but I'm giving you information that may be life-changing for you. And I encourage you to talk to your doctors, the Chautauqua Center, any of the clinics, the VA clinics, whatever the case is. The point is call before you do any of these things so that you're not contaminating people if you think you're sick and so forth. So I know this seems a little weird to think about it, not to go to your doctor when you're sick, but that's what you should do. All right, here's a couple things to think about. McClure Museum is closed temporarily, the great museum over there in Westfield. And all Chautauqua County Historical Society events are closed, excuse me. So let me just read what they say here. The Chautauqua County Historical Society Board of Trustees is announcing it's closing the McClure Museum temporarily, effective immediately until further notice. We hear that everywhere, until further notice. We just don't know when. As a precautionary measure against the coronavirus. In addition to the temporary closure of the museum, the Historical Society is also postponing its lecture and presentation on the WCTU in Chautauqua County, originally scheduled for Saturday, March 28th. In Fredonia, the Society's annual meeting, originally scheduled for Saturday, April 18th, in Westfield, has been canceled as well. The Historical Society Board of Trustees will also continue to monitor the coronavirus situation and will provide other updates regarding future programming and so forth. And we're going to provide that to you right here. Got any questions? Give me a call, 326-2977. Okay? This is free of charge, folks. If you have an event or something going on that you want me to either announce or cancel, happy to do it. Just send us an email. Rolling Hills Radio. Oh, this goes right along with what I was telling you about musicians, all right? Dear Rolling Hills supporters, it's come to no surprise to any of you that the taping of the Rolling Hills episodes 97 and 98 scheduled for March 30 and April 27 are canceled. They tentatively have made the decision some time ago, but have held out with small hope. Otherwise, you got to just hang on, okay? So, and as I said, the mayor there in Jamestown wisely closed things down, and we all agree with our government in their decisions. Okay, Rotary Club of Mayville Pancake Breakfast. The Rotary Club of Mayville's Pancake Breakfast that was scheduled for the morning of April 4 at the Brockton Central School cafeteria is canceled. It will not be rescheduled. Of course, this is due to the outbreak and so forth. Patty Benton has this to say. She was in charge of that. Because of a pancake breakfast is a somewhat seasonal event, our Rotary Club's board members felt that it was best to cancel this fundraiser. If we were to postpone it and were able to hold it several months later, it might not be as successful. So people are just closing everything down. I'm president of this particular club. I have closed down all meetings until the first meeting of May. I mean, it was like, let's not mess around here. We can't have people getting together, and besides that, the restaurants are closed. We can't even meet. All right, here's another one, Grapes and Hops Festival. The Grapes and Hops Festival is postponed based on the recommendations from the state and local health departments and New York State Governor's ban and so forth. A makeup of the April 25th is planned. Wait a minute, hang on. I got it. A makeup date of April 25th is the planned new date. It was originally for the 21st for the 2020 Grapes and Hops Festival, assuming the ban will be lifted. Tickets for the events will continue to be on sale at the following website, grapesandhopsfestival.com. If you have any questions, give them a call at 484-2624. And again, if you have to cancel again, let us know. This is a rolling calendar. We get it, and we have no issue keeping people up to date. That's what we do here. We were talking before the show, and we were realizing how important our public access TV is. We're the only thing that's live right now in Chautauqua County on TV. So please support it and share this information when the show goes onto YouTube, or if you're watching it off of Facebook or wherever. You can share this with your friends, and hopefully the information that we have as we go along is important. Shamrock and Roll, another one, due to the current pandemic and so forth. They've postponed the event that was going to be held today, and that's with the Children's Safety Education Village. And let's see here, we will continue to sell tickets because they've rescheduled for June 6th. They're a little bit more hopeful for June, okay? But mark your calendar and remember that it's a big fundraiser. It's going to have lots of food. It's going to be held at Bellini's Lounge, and we'll talk more about that later on, but they're still selling tickets for $40. So if you have tickets, don't throw them away. They're still going to honor them for June 6th, and they're giving away cash prizes as well. So they're gonna be celebrating the green in June, so it's a great idea. Another cancellation, Chevette's. I feel like when you have a snow day, the guy gets on to use this school's closed, this school's closed. Chevette's Chicken Barbecue is rescheduled due to the growing concern of health and safety. Prevention Works, which used to be CASIC, has canceled their event. All right. Which was supposed to be scheduled for March 23. It's scheduled, again, smart people, June 2nd, same time, same place, at the Masonic Lodge in Fredonia from 3:30 to 6:30. Again, we'll be announcing this again, but they just wanted you to know. Let's see, hang on. Now, in South County, there was another barbecue that was scheduled for April 28th. It has been moved to June 23rd, and that was at the St. James Church over on Allen Street. Again, we'll be announcing more of this, and they say, thank you for understanding, and stay healthy. So with that, I think we're going to go to a public service announcement, so stay tuned. We got a great show in store for you. We'll be right back.
Why is ambition respected in men and criticized in women? Well, when asked to draw a leader, the vast majority of people, both men and women, draw a man. When we imagine positions of power, we erase women from the picture. It's time to challenge cultural stereotypes and outmoded mindsets. The world is a better place when we support one another's ambitions, whatever they may be. Our ambition is to challenge double standards to help achieve women's equality. What's yours? Embrace ambition.
We're back. If you're watching or listening, I'm Doc Hamels, and you're watching Chautauqua Sunrise. We broadcast right out of here at the county seat in Mayville, New York, and we're on Church Channel 1301 on Spectrum. All right, so As I said, we're going to continue broadcasting as much as we can, and we're taking all the safety precautions of social distancing. My wonderful concierge here, Justin Burt, he sprays everything and makes sure everything is clean and healthy for my guests as well as the crew here. So I want to welcome back to my show Diane Clark and Bill Moran, who are from the Greystone Bat, Bird, and Butterfly Sanctuary. I like that. Ba, 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 ba.
Thanks, Doc.
Absolutely. Good
Thank
morning.
you, Doc.
How you
Thanks for
holding
having
up?
us back.
How's everybody
we're
holding?
Doing well.
Doing
of course,
well.
we're way out in the country, so
Yeah.
we feel we're isolated. We're doing what we call home honeymooning.
Ooh.
Just stay home and enjoy your home.
My wife said to me, "Can you put up with me for the next whatever days?" I go, "We got a big house. The weather's improving. I'll be outdoors. No worry, dear." I thought it'd be the other way around. I'm the hyper one. So we had this program scheduled for some time, and we've changed who was going to be here. So I'm so glad you're here. And Katie, if you're watching, thanks for supporting. Katie, Linda, right? She couldn't make it today, and I was really bummed out because I was really looking forward to meeting her. She was an intern at your program,
Yes.
right? This past season, semester.
Fredonia State.
Fredonia State. And,
Fall semester.
yeah. So Katie, anyways, you provided some information, photos for us. So you're here in spirit, and if you're watching, great. Call in. Bug these people, okay? So what are we talking about today?
Today, we're talking about forest bathing.
Forest bathing.
Forest bathing.
Okay.
So I brought some props here
Okay.
because of social distancing.
Yes,
I
you
was
stay
gonna
over on your
wrap it
side.
around my husband, and I'd love the viewers to just have a feeling of what bathing means. Even if you take a shower, you know, the warmth of a towel when it caresses you. In Japan, the word for bathing is yoku, and when you think about forest bathing, we're not taking towels and bath brushes and soap down into the forest and bathing.
Oh, this isn't like
It
nudist
ain't that
or anything?
cool.
No, it's not good.
It's not that hippie. The whole idea of forest bathing is that you open your senses to the forest and you spend some time in nature. Almost everyone knows by now that there are such healing qualities in nature. And they're only resurrecting the idea that, yes, you can be cured by drugs and you can be cured by the medical world. But within our own environment, there's a world of healing that can happen by just exposing yourself to nature.
The term you used was Japanese, you said?
Yes.
So this is a Japanese concept, or is
Yes,
this?
it is. Good.
Oh, all right.
Yes. Shinrin is the Japanese word for forest, and yoku is their word for bathing.
All right, let me try it. Shinrin Yoku.
Shinrin yoku,
All right.
forest bathing, and the Japanese government recognizes this. In fact, they help fund it.
They fund forest
They
bathing?
do.
How-
They do.
In what way?
They have forests accessible to the people
Beautiful.
within walking distance of cities, so that people can just walk out into the forest and absorb what they can and what they wish to do from the forest. It's an actual, if you were in Japan, the word forest bathing would not connotate getting out your soap and brush and all the
You don't need
paraphernalia.
any of those props. You can just show up.
You just show up. And in fact, you're encouraged not to take your camera or your notebook or even your hiking shoes. What you're just encouraged to do is go out there with your own presence and absorb what the forest has to give. And there are many things that the forest has to give. And we're going to give you an example of some
Please
of them.
do. Mhm.
This is from an article from New York State Department of Environmental Conservation. It's listing the benefits of simply being in nature. One of them is boosts the immune system. While we breathe in the fresh air, we breathe in pyrocides, airborne chemicals that give off to protect themselves from insects. These phytocides also have antibacterial and antifungal qualities, which helps plants fight disease. When people breathe in these chemicals, our bodies respond by increasing the number and activity of a type of white blood cell called natural killer cells, or NK. Lowering blood pressure. Numerous studies shows that both exercising in forest and simply sitting looking at trees reduce blood pressure, as well as the stress-related hormones, cortisol and adrenaline. Forest bathing also reduces stress. It improves mood, increases the ability to focus, even in children with ADHD. And this is relevant to our Greystone Preserve because many of our children visit the facility. It also accelerates recovery from surgery or illness, increases energy level, could all use that, and improves sleep.
And
I was going to jump in on this a little bit. I live where I live, like I said, in the escarpment. We have woods, and we're surrounded by other people's woods, so we got a lot of woods and trees and stuff. And I was thinking about the show today, and I was thinking about, I go out there as often as I can. There is an opportunity, and you'll know what I'm talking about. And for those that are listening right now, think about this. It probably would be an October day. The trees have all turned yellow, orange, and red. You go out and the sun is beaming right through there, maybe about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and the place is lit up because all those leaves are just absorbing the light, and it's like somebody just turned on a big globe light, and there you are in the middle of this forest. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yep, you sound like John Muir. He would appreciate it.
I mean, I'm out there as often as I can, and my dog is enjoying it. All my dogs have always enjoyed it out there, so we have a great time.
Yeah, and what Bill read to you, now that we're allowed and we're finally forced to believe in science, all of these things, benefits of forest, are all backed up by stacks and stacks of research. It isn't just someone saying, oh, it's good for children with AADH. They have shown it. They have done studies that just being in nature, especially in a forest, because trees are special in so many ways, because they have such a long life, because their roots are so deep in the earth and their branches go so high. They're conduits of those two worlds, the earth and the sky world. And that does something within our system to help us get some balance. So forest bathing is a truly remarkable experience based on science. And I want to give your viewers a little step-by-step idea of how to do it. Because you go, what do I do? So there's a man named M. Amos Clifford, and he wrote a book, and it's called Your Steps to Forest Bathing. You can even Google this if you want. So Mr. Amos Clifford, he tells you in a step-by-step guide to forest bathing that the first thing is that you set an intention. You're not just going to get out of your car and walk in the woods and expect anything to happen. It begins within yourself. So before you even approach the forest, you begin to go within and say, what am I coming out here for? I'm going to give an hour or two to this forest bathing. What do I want out of it? What's really on my mind is that dispute I had with my neighbor. I think that's going to be my intention. Or I'm really worried. I can feel the anxiety. My intention is to try and get rid of some of this anxiety. So a conscious attempt to set an intention is where you have to begin. And then Amos Clifford suggests that as you approach the forest, you within yourself will find a place that you call the threshold. And the threshold is where you end your experience with the other world and come into this greater world, this natural world. You can have a threshold anywhere that you feel it within your body. Where Bill and I usually do our forest bathing at Greystone Nature Preserve is there's a field, and then the path goes down into the woods, and there's just a natural place where you all of a sudden feel surrounded by the hemlocks, and you know that's my threshold. I'm leaving the bright sunny field, I'm going into the deep woods. And if you just take in that threshold, it's there. What Mr. Clifford suggests is that you get a stick and lay it across your path. And with intention say, this is my threshold. This is the point at which I leave all that mundane world behind me and I enter the magic of the natural world.
I had never thought of that before. I can tell you exactly where that is in my woods.
Where's yours?
I have to go towards the back, and all of a sudden, I can't tell you why, but I just know it's like I can feel like I've just stepped through a doorway. And it's different there. It's a different vibe altogether. Yep. I get it.
Yeah.
I never thought of it that way before. And so I know as I get closer and closer and closer, I can feel that it's changing. And then when I'm leaving it, I can feel like I'm returning back.
Yeah.
Isn't that it? I never thought of that.
Isn't that?
That's very cool.
We're so in tune to watching the traffic signals or a stop sign or all these other clues in the everyday world. But we really have to learn to get clues from the natural world. So I'm glad you got that.
When you were talking, I wrote the word down, touch. Okay, we're not supposed to touch right now, obviously, but human touch is so important in our lives, okay? And there's studies about all that sort of thing. And then we have our pet. We stroke our cat, our dog, and there's that touch. We go out into the woods, and how many times do you actually touch a tree? Now, I'm not talking about, the old concept of a tree hugger, but I'm saying actually place your hand on a tree. It's a living organism. It has a vibratory rate. Now, I'm not trying to get real, sci-fi here, but it does. There's something special about, and I do this. I know it seems maybe odd for me. No, it doesn't either. He's laughing over here. He gets it. But I go out there, and sometimes I just lean up against a tree because I can kind of feel like an old friend. I'm with friends out there,
You're doing what they call dropping in.
Dropping in. So I have a threshold now and dropping in. Okay, keep going.
After you get through your threshold, wherever you make a barrier, you do your dropping in. Bill, you want to explain what dropping in is?
Dropping in. I can relate to that, having surfed the East Coast, Daytona Beach, when I was younger. There was a term that the surfers used called dropping in, but I'm going to read this off of here. As with any other practice, repetition helps. The repeated use of these invitations that Diane's referring to will, over time, deepen your understanding and your capacity to fully drop in. Dropping in is a term I've often heard forest bathers use. Its origin is in surfing, a practice that's related in many ways to forest bathing. Surfers wait watchfully for a wave. When one comes, they must paddle to catch it. At a certain point, the paddling gives way to the wave's own energy, carrying the board forward. The surfer stands and, quote, drops in, unquote, to the wave and the flow of the moment. When your forest bathing practice begins to ripen, like a skillful surfer, you will learn how to drop in, allowing the forest and your own embodied awareness to flow together. The optimal flow described in this book will help you understand how to do this.
So, Bill, it sounds to me this is something you want to kind of develop. It's not a one time, I didn't feel anything. I mean, I think it's something maybe you kind of open your senses to more and more and more.
Yep.
Exactly, Doc. This is a practice, very much like meditating or your tennis game. It's a practice that you come and you put into your life, but you change it, but you have a structure to it too. So you set an intention, and then you come to your forest, you place a threshold, and then you have this feeling of dropping in to the forest. It's like when we have old friends and you say hi, you get your coats off and everything, and then you just drop into that friendship again. You go like, it's like no years were between us. You can only do that with really good friends. And that's what your practice becomes, that you can become a friend with the forest. So as you're there on the other side of your threshold and you're in the forest world now, what you want to do is embody the awareness of where you are. Really open your senses to the fact that you are in the forest. And the forest pictures are something that even a picture can give you the feeling of a forest. And when you embody this awareness, you open up your ears, open up your nose, your sense of smell, your sense of touch. Don't be afraid to touch a tree, or what is that little thing on the ground there? Pick it up and find out. Let your curiosity take over. And you can stand on the other side of your threshold, or what Clifford really recommends is that you begin slowly walking. And there's a trick, because all of us, what we'll do is we'll start out walking and trying to take in the trees and everything, and before you know it, we'll start hiking, because that's what we're trained to do. And he'll say, time and again, remind yourself to slow down, slow to the real pace of nature, which is walking.
Okay, and let's slow down because we have a phone call.
Okay.
All right, good morning, caller.
Well, good morning, Doc. Good morning, Diane. Good morning, Bill. Diane, I know you. You used to be a neighbor of mine. This is Linda Spalding.
Oh, hello, Linda.
How are you?
Well, we're just fine.
It's so good to see you on the show. Well, I know you're a nature lover, and so am I. And I really like your idea of the threshold. I have a special place here, too, a very special place. And another thing that always gave me such a great freshness and rebirth of life would be when I used to go horseback riding, because I felt so close to nature and with a trusted friend, the horse. So it's a wonderful experience. It just rejuvenates your soul.
Absolutely.
Great for you, Linda. Yes, we're glad to have that comment, because most people feel this, and yet we feel we have to go to some other world to get these feelings of centeredness and composure, but it's right out there in the woods.
That's where I get my, should I say, it's an escape, and it's a rejuvenation, it's a renewal. That's where I get my strength, is from nature.
And it's free. It's all there.
Yeah.
Doesn't cost a dime.
Yeah, I just, I have to have my nature. And I'm fortunate enough that I live near a wood, so it's just perfect.
Beautiful. And in these days and times we live in, we sure could use a lot more forest bathing, can't we?
Yes.
So what else is going on, Lynn?
Well, I'm working from home. I have been since Thursday. And our participants are on paid leave. Through they're paid by the Department of Labor, of course, but I'm in touch with them, and I'm calling them every other day, and we're still doing our work, but it's over the phone.
Okay.
But they're not reporting.
And this is the
full
senior work program, right?
Right, and they're getting paid for it, and I think it's great. It's really wonderful, because they normally don't get those benefits if they don't report to their site, if it's a holiday or if they're off sick. They will not be paid. They can make up the time, but they won't be paid for the time off. So this is the first time that I have seen that they are getting paid leave.
So it's a time of a lot of firsts.
Yes.
Linda, nonetheless, why don't you do a quick blurb about your program for people that are listening, because we got a lot of people who are home right now watching TV. So your program, tell a little bit about it, and let's pop up the phone number for more information. How's that?
Thank you. It's the Senior Employment Program, and people are to be at least 55 years of age and not working.
Check.
There are some income eligibility guidelines, but I don't get into it when I give a talk, because there are so many things that we disregard when we're determining the budget. This program is paid for by the Department of Labor, and it's the big grantee or contractor for our area is Senior Service America Incorporated. They're located out of Silver Spring, Maryland. What the purpose of the program is to get people back into the workforce. And I always say to them when I'm doing an assessment, what do you want to be when you grow up? Because we determine what kind of area you want to get into.
Okay.
I match the person's interests and skills with what the job openings are, and if I don't have them available, I will develop them. So it's to get them back into the workforce so that they can get a better job off of the program. These are not permanent jobs.
Okay.
These are kind of training to work jobs, 20 hours a week for minimum wage, which right now is $11.80 an hour.
Okay, and if somebody wants to get a hold of you, what number should they call? Let's pop that up, Jeff.
I hope I didn't talk too much.
No, we'll wrap it up here.
Okay, 753-4471 is the main line.
Perfect.
And if people want to call me now, I'm working from home. I will get your messages through my computer, and I will call you back.
Okay, terrific. All right, we got to move along, Lynn. You take care, and I'm glad you guys were able to say hi to each other after all
Oh,
this
it's
time.
so good to see you
Oh,
again,
neighbor.
Diane. I'll see you with the butterflies.
Okay.
All right, we're all neighbors after all.
All right, believe it or not, we have a second caller. Okay, good morning, caller. Caller number 2. Good morning.
Hello, Doc. It's Mike Felsman from Portland.
Mike from Portland. Okay.
I didn't know who you had as guest, so I did miss a little bit of the first part, but I want to just say hello to Bill and Diane. I don't know that they'll remember me from my name. I've seen them in a few places. One day I think they were doing a beach cleanup, and I was there.
Okay.
But where they probably might remember me from is several years ago when I used to work at Brockton School as a lifeguard and water safety instructor.
Oh, yeah. Okay, Mike. All right.
Program. And Bill and Diane, hello. I hope I've jarred a memory.
You did. You did.
I no longer need my water wings.
Okay, good. Yeah, I've enjoyed hearing your talk. I know you've got I believe you have the Greystone Nature Preserve up on Bear Lake.
That's all right.
Okay, so I need to get out more.
Yes, sir.
I was kind of tied down. My wife was sick for some time, and I am a widower now, but I should be able to get out and enjoy nature a little bit more.
Okay, that'll help you out a lot.
Just wanted to say hello, and I'll try to watch for maybe some of your programs or something this summer, and try to get outside more.
All right, well, that's
All
a
right,
good
welcome
goal.
you.
Good. Nice to hear from you.
And don't should on yourself. Get that off your shoulders that you should forest bathe.
I should. Okay.
Really. It's a practice you want to get into because it's good for you and because you enjoy it. Because it's setting an intention, having a threshold, and taking in the pheromones, all the chemicals that the forest has to give you, plus what Doc is saying, the natural serenity of it.
It's unbelievable.
It is really an important part of our life. So when you leave your forest bathing, you take up your threshold, you recognize that you're coming back to the everyday world, and yet you try to incorporate whatever experiences you might have had, watching a caterpillar, or maybe seeing a waterfall. All of those experiences you try to bring in to your everyday world, and there lies the benefit of this new or old thing that's called forest bathing.
And I have a song that comes to mind. It was written by the late John Denver. That's the Rocky Mountain High song. I'm going to read a little bit of the lyrics here because I think it's quite relevant. He says, "Now he walks in quiet solitude, the forest and the streams, seeking grace in every step he takes. His sight is turned inside himself to try to understand the serenity of a clear blue mountain lake. In the Colorado Rocky Mountain High, I've seen it rain and fire in the sky. You can talk to God and listen to the casual reply." Great lyrics. His song still stands up. It's probably 3 or 4 decades old. But that's something that comes to mind when I'm out in the woods.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I was just sitting here listening, and everything you're saying is
right.
in that song.
It's right there. It's current, and it's something we really can embody as you've made all these announcements today. Here we have this coronavirus going on, and one of the things that it attacks right away, it comes in your lungs. What's the antidote to that? Get out in fresh air, exercise those lungs, keep them healthy. And what could be better than forest bathing for getting out in nature?
Every announcement I've heard up till today, they say, get outside when you can. Don't stay cooped up in the house. You know, everybody's trying to lock themselves down. And no, let's just stay away from people, but get out there. I mean, what could be better?
Yeah.
Walk your dog.
Exactly. Right now at Greystone, we're not open until the beginning of April, but we're trying very hard to have our parking area open for visitors, and we're encouraging people. See us we're on social media, GreystoneNaturePreserve.com.org, everything you can find with Facebook and Instagram. If you feel you need a place to forest bathe, we open our woods, we open our fields to you. Please don't come up to the house, but if you can find us, pull in the driveway and park on the gravel and get out of your car and use our trails. We have almost 100 miles of beautiful Chautauqua trails.
100 miles.
Come and enjoy them. They're uphill and down and around meadows. We'll open our place to you to just let you get out in nature. We feel it's that important.
And how do you find us?
Yeah, I was going to ask you, where are you exactly?
You can Google us at Greystone Nature Preserve.
Or we're on Facebook.
Yep.
The web, Facebook. You can get what do they call that? The everyday information. There's a phone number in there. You can call us if you're coming out so we can be prepared for you. Maybe even put a map out there for you. We ask you that if you have a dog, keep your dog on a leash.
And pick up after your dog?
And pick up, yeah.
Always.
Well, people think we're out in the woods, there's other people going to be walking behind you later on. So
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And that's really an invasive element in the woods.
Generally, you're in Brockton, right? I mean, that's a pin on the map, Brockton
Yes,
area?
we're very much like Doc. We're right on the edge of the escarpment on Bear Lake Road.
Okay.
And in fact, if you just want a really good place to walk, a place I champion in Chautauqua County is the old Chautauqua Road. We came over on it. It's a little bumpy for a car, but it is still a wooded road, and it's a dirt road. There's parking at either end of the road, either at Bear Lake Road or 430, where it's a mile and a half
380.
of 380. I'm sorry. Yeah. It's a mile and a half of beautiful Chautauqua County to walk through. You won't see a man-made thing. So if you wanted to do some forest bathing, you could go right out there.
You got rails of trails. You got your state parks, county parks. I mean, Chautauqua County's got lots of places you can go, or just even walk along the lake. I mean, if you like the lake, I mean, that's a whole other threshold there.
Yeah.
We got some pictures that you brought along. Let's not forget about them. How about that?
Yeah.
So what do we got?
Where are they?
You tell Jeff, and he brings up the pictures.
Oh, Jeff, do you want to show some of those pictures we have on the screen?
There we
These
go.
These are thanks to Miss Lendell, the intern. So this is a typical scene at our Greystone Nature Preserve. In fact, the reason Bill and I bought this property was this spectacular view of Lake Erie. And just look at those woods down there. Don't you get a feeling that they just invite you to come in and enjoy them? Mm-hmm. There's another one. If you can roll that.
Yep, he'll bring it up. Whoop.
Oh.
There we go.
Here's the woods in a nice morning kind of view. When we have our field days at Greystone, which is when we invite the public schools to bring kids out for, instead of going to Waldemere or some commercial entertainment for their last big fling at the end of school, we have a program called Field Days. And what we do is let the kids in the fields. We let them walk the trails and be in the fields, and we offer 4 environmental education lessons and put them in groups so that they're getting almost, personalized instruction in environmental education. Mm-hmm. So that field beckons me to want to walk in it.
Okay, there we go. Whoa.
Here's another great view from up top of the escarpment. Doc, I can almost see your place around the bend.
My view is just a little higher yet.
And this is interesting too, because you can see the woods in the background. But if you see those trees on the right, Bill and I have left that tree. It's slowly dying. Mm-hmm. But a very important thing to remember is that a dead tree in the woods, unlike us when we're dead, a dead tree is still doing a lot of good for the world. Yeah, it's a home. It's lunch for many insects.
Woodpeckers go crazy there.
Yes, we need to have those, what people call snags, in our forest. They're a very important part of it. What else do we have here?
Ooh, that's
Beech
now-
trees.
Now there is the feeling of walking in the forest, letting the forest embrace you, and you embracing the forest.
You know what's interesting about that picture? And I wrote an article not too long ago about walking in the woods for Silver Magazine. But the tree right in the middle is like the mother, and then next to it are the children and the grandchildren and the great grandchildren. And you kind of go out there; it's like a family of trees, isn't
It's a
it?
big grove of beeches.
It really is. It really is. I even see some sons of beeches out there.
Oh,
We'll have to watch them.
Well, better get the sensors out.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
Do we have any more? I don't know
Yeah,
what
there's
else.
a few
we got.
more.
Okay, keep them coming. Oh, that's a nice.
Here,
thing.
when I mentioned about a waterfall, that's a waterfall on Greystone Nature Preserve that you would pass in your walk.
Mm-hmm.
And as you take a walk in nature, that's the whole idea, to just stop and take in the sounds, take in the experience of how nature moves so beautifully and quite differently than the way we pattern our lives.
You know, at my house we have 2 water gardens, and one above the other, not very big. And I have a little circulating pump, and people said, "Oh, that sounds perfect." And I can tune the water hitting the stones to hit the water like a musical instrument, and you can get it.
Yes, you can.
You know when it isn't, but you know when it is. And waterfalls are the same way. There's a certain tone to that just says, that's the sound I'm looking for.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
my wife says the other day, something's wrong with the waterfall. I go, why? She goes, it sounds different. And I said, oh, raccoons have been in there again. I got to go out and tune it. I got to adjust the stones just right. What else we got? More. Oh, there we are.
Oh, here we are.
The new logo.
Yep. We spent
Excuse me.
about a half a year designing a new logo. We still are a bat, bird, and butterfly sanctuary. We're concentrating on those 3 species because they're very much in need of help.
Now, before we take that picture away, for those who are listening right now, this is a fascinating logo. I've just studied because you have it on your T-shirt, but I didn't have a chance to really look at it. So, describe the logo. It's really cool.
Well, of course, very little trite, but we put a stone for Greystone.
In the circle, where it'd be an O for stone.
yeah,
There's
that-
a stone there now.
That Greystone is the symbol of our 72-acre endeavor.
But then above it, you have
The 3 wing symbols.
3 wings. So why don't you describe those for us?
And there's a monarch butterfly wing and a bluebird wing and then a bat wing.
Very,
And
very cool.
The 3 species that we felt were most in need of help. The monarch butterfly was almost gone.
Oh my gosh.
Almost gone. You rarely saw one, and that was only about 8 years ago that they were very, very low. And people started planting milkweed. The problem with the monarch butterfly is that the Monsanto company was allowed by the government to let farmers spray well beyond their borders. So where there used to be a little border around fields of weeds where insects and pollinators could get a lunch, that's all gone now, all the way across the United States. In fact, by company regulations, farmers must overspray. So the poor monarchs, they don't have much to eat. And most people know that monarchs migrate all the way from here to Mexico, over creeks and streams, over mountains. They migrate. I don't know how they'll get over a wall, but somehow we hope they will, because their wintering time is down in Mexico. And then unbelievably, it takes 4 generations of monarch butterflies to come back up here where they do their primary laying of eggs and starting a new generation.
I have something to share with you that you may not know. When I was in Germany last, which was I think 2 years ago, my friend Rudolph and I were doing our nature walk, and because he and I are always outdoors in Germany, and he said, "This field, do you see this field?" I go, "Yeah, I see the field." He says, "See, it's all overgrown." I said, "Yeah." The government pays farmers to let their fields go,
Fallow.
Very
so that the
good.
monarchs and the insects can regenerate and so forth.
Oh, that's
And
fabulous.
in my house, people say, "Why don't you cut all your grass?" I go, "Fields." I go, "No, I have like a maze, And then I go walking, and then you see the monarchs next to you at the milkweeds and stuff. You cut everything down. There's nothing to eat, nothing to go to. So now the kids, they'll go out there, they see the butterflies. All cool.
You got it, Doc. You got it.
Is that all the pictures now?
No-mow zone.
There's a couple more.
Couple more, I think. Let's see what pops up. Oh, there it is.
So there's our monarch. That was taken right on our property, and it looks almost 3D, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Almost like you can just grab the monarch.
Yeah, and you can see that's a no-mow zone where we just let the grass grow tall, we let the weeds come in, so that the pollinators who are in real need of those wild spaces have a home.
Terrific.
And here, the next film, I believe, that's a sample of our bird feeders.
Oh, gosh.
Because not only the bluebird, but all birds have been stressed by the encroachment of our very popular and predominant species, the two-leggeds. So those bird feeders are usually alive with birds, and we definitely believe that people need to be enriching the birds' habitat by putting out seed, because we've destroyed.
And in our area of the county, we are on a major migratory bird route.
The escarpment especially.
Yes.
And we have a special bird called black bear.
We know that one.
It knocks my bird feeders all over the place.
Oh yeah, we've
They
had
love the
that.
thistle. They love that thistle seed.
Yeah, we've had that. This is a view of Greystone taken from a meeting area where we sometimes have kids have their picnic lunches. And in the field, that's good old Joe. He's an intern.
Okay.
Our organization works very closely with SUNY Fredonia. Right now we're working with 4 interns. Last summer we also had 4 interns. And we love the partnership of these young people coming and learning about nature and enriching their college experience by doing things like learning how to use a chainsaw or planting a garden. You don't get that in every college experience. We're taking in interns for the spring semester right now.
And as elders, we feel that it's really our responsibility to pass on what we know to be true about nature.
Absolutely.
And so we're glad to be talking about this.
We're
forest
getting down
bathing.
to 2.5 minutes. So let's make sure we get this crystal that's in front of us. What's this all about?
Speaking of interns.
Speaking of interns.
Let's hit this. Let's get this right here.
This is only 2 weeks old. This was an award that we were given from SUNY Fredonia.
Well, congratulations.
As Excellence in Internship Advancement. And it's the first award of its kind that they have ever given out in their 10 years of being a career development office.
Well, let me read it. May I?
Go ahead.
It says, Greystone Nature Preserve, Excellence in Internship Advancement 2020, Fredonia Career Development Office. It's beautiful. Well done.
Well, we're very proud of that responsibility. Yesterday we had 2 interns out, and they were working on various things. One's working with computers up in our office, and the other was with Bill pulling invasive weeds. And we had a lunch, and every bit of that lunch, or at least of the soup, came from Greystone. The chicken, 8 vegetables. That's a good experience for
we're
kids.
down to about a minute and a little bit. So what would you like to say at this point? Anything?
I would like to ask the viewers if they would like to go to YouTube and maybe listen to a song that that comes to mind. It's called Wondrous Cool, Thy Woodlands Quiet. It was written by the classical composer Brahms. I can quote you one line: Wondrous cool, thy woodlands quiet, thee 1,000 times I seek, far away from rush and riot. Oh, those soothing sounds are sweet. It's from high school chorus.
Okay, and Diane, you get last word.
We implore you to do just what Bill said. Get out in the woods. Get into yourself and get out in the woods and refresh yourself in nature.
Okay, folks, this is an antidote for being cooped up in the house during this time. Get out there, get those lungs clear, clear your mind, get your blood pressure down. I'm Doc Hamels, and my guests today have been Diane Clark and Bill Moran from the Greystone Nature Preserve, Bat, Bird, and Butterfly Sanctuary. I like saying that. We'll see you next time. Again, remember, it's a pre-taped next show, and we'll see you then. And please, be careful, be healthy, and listen to what they're telling you out there. Take care now. Bye-bye. That's it. I was in a little town called Mellendorf, which is above Hanover.